to kick it out a bit. Try and hold the bars.
We'll see. All right, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for checking out the last video with Ruben, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. He progressed a lot. Fortunately, he kind of hurt his knee, and so he hasn't been riding since then. Not my fault though. But anyways, hey, we're back here at Broomfield Bike Park. Jeff, right there, I got Jeff with me. And if you can see in the background, there's a whole bunch of riders way up there on the hillside. And so we're down here, we're gonna do this intro and let you guys know why we're here. Well, one of the things that we get asked a lot while we're riding is, how do we do whips? And I like doing whips. I like seeing people do whips. The steeds and the flow are just so much fun to watch. And so Jeff is out here with me, and today we are gonna teach you guys how to do whips. We're gonna break it down a little bit, tell you the different steps that we do, the techniques. Jeff has a little bit of a different style than I do, but it's still super fun to watch. So here we go. We're gonna teach you guys how to do whips on these dirt jumps. How to do whips. The first thing is you wanna be comfortable on your bike going sideways a little bit, and you wanna find a jump that you're comfortable jumping over. So really, people ask me, well, which side do I whip to? And there's like the textbook, and then there's just what feels right. So typically, if you ride right foot forward, you're going to turn your bike this way to the bars to the left. And the reason for that is because right foot forward, your hips are open to this side. So the motion is more fluid, less constricted. If you ride left foot forward, your hips are open to this side. So you're going to whip this way because that motion is more fluid for you. Now there are people that they feel better whipping to their opposite side, and that's okay too. It's whatever feels comfortable for you, but generally you're gonna whip to the open side of your hips, and so that's this way. And so that's the first step, is kind of figuring out which way feels better for you. The next part of this is when you do the whip, your shoulders are still gonna stay as much facing toward the landing as possible. And the reason is because once the whip goes, you want to bring the bike back as much as you can to straight. If you whip and you turn your shoulders away, you're actually starting the rotation for a 360 or 180, and if you land backwards or you land 90, game over. So the whip is going to take you like this, but your shoulders are going to try and stay pointing, and your chest is going to stay pointing forward towards your landing the whole time. Because when you do this, you want this to come back, and you want to be facing as much forward as possible at that point. So twist your hip, keep your chest pointing forward. So you have those two pieces of the puzzle. So how do you actually start the movement of the whip? And this is where Jeff and I differ a little bit. So Jeff is going to jump in here in a minute, and he's going to kind of explain how he does it. Basically what's going to happen is similar to a 360 or a spin rotation. Right as you're going to peak the lip, basically I kind of snap my bar a little so that this motion starts to happen. But by keeping my chest forward, it keeps it from rotating all the way around, and it lets the bike kind of do that steezy move that you guys see. And so coming up, you kind of like right at the peak of the lip, you're going to pop, and it's going to turn. But by turning this shoulder back that way, it keeps the bars turning back toward the landing, and it keeps your chest pointing forward. If I open up like this motion starts to happen. So we want to make sure when you make that snap right off the peak, you're turning away from your rotation so you don't start into a 360. So which foot forward do you ride?
I ride left foot forward.
Okay.
And so, you know, just like Eddie said, I turn this way to my right, even though I'm left foot forward. But when I'm approaching a lip and I want to whip, you know, I make sure I have adequate speed, and you know, you want to lean back as you're coming up the lip to kind of get a good arch, because you want to land nose heavy on this. So as you're coming up the lip, what I think about is after the front tire takes off and is actually off the ramp, I'll turn the bars. So I think about this in terms of bars. I've never actually thought about it in terms of hips. So when I'm in the air, I turn the bars, and the bike naturally wants to start whipping at that point. And so I turn the bars but make sure I keep my head straight, and which in turn keeps your shoulders, you know, your chest open toward the landing. And then I use my back foot just to kind of whip the back out a bit, because the front does most of the work. You just use your back foot to kick it out a bit. Try and hold the bars. Oh shit. And usually if you're, you know, if you pulled back on the lip and you whipped at the peak of the jump, you're going to start nosediving at this point. And so making sure the front wheel is pointed toward the landing is going to make sure you ride out safely, because even if you're tilted a bit, as long as your front wheel's pointed the right way, the back will snap back. So
can you get away with a little bit of sideways landing as long as your front end's pointed toward the...
Oh yeah, you don't want to land like this.
Right.
You want to at least get it 45.
Okay.
But, you know, just pointing the front wheel, that's important.
Okay. Okay, so you heard how Jeff does it, you've heard how I do it. There is a certain amount of it that you got to be comfortable landing with your back tire a little bit angled, because it does happen. And like Jeff said, you are going to come in nose heavy, or ideally I do, Jeff does. But we're going to go ahead, we're going to get a close up on the lip here, so you can kind of see the motion as he goes up and over, and give you a better idea how we're doing these whips off these jumps. All right, so our good buddy Andy, he's going to get in on this, and he's going to do a couple different ways to do whips, and we're gonna show you those motions as he's doing them as well. Andy maintains Broomfield Bike Park for us, and we couldn't be any more pleased with the work that he does, and we appreciate all the hard work getting the snow and ice off these jumps so that he can get them opened up for everybody. So here, we're going to get Andy. We're going to see Andy do a couple whips. So one of the things that we failed to mention to you, I'm going to turn this way for a second, is you can actually practice this on your back to kind of get the feeling and the motion, the movement going, and kind of see how it's gonna feel underneath you. And so Jeff is going to go ahead and do that. He's going to lay on his back, and he's going to show you this movement here that we're talking about. So basically, you're just going to lay down, put your bike over you, position. I'm going to try and get my shadow out of here. There we go. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna keep the bike over you and just do the motion, how the bike is gonna rotate, and then back, just like that, you know. And you can bring it up over your head a little bit more, and then just move it just like that. So you can do that to get a feel for it, see how it's gonna feel when the bike is rotating, and bringing it back to your neutral spot there. And that's another way of practicing it. Thanks to Jeff for demonstrating that. So there you go. So that's how we whip, and there's a couple different ways to do it. You saw Andy do a little bit his way. You saw Jeff do some his way, and mine my way, and they all look great. They're all awesome, you know, good little things to throw into your style when you're doing these jumps. And we like doing them. We like watching other people do them. Hopefully this helped you guys out. Take it out there, give it a try, feel it out, and thanks for checking it out. From Jeff right there, thanks for being a part of this and doing this how-to with us. Myself and everybody else at Safety Second, thanks so much for supporting the channel. And here's to the 2020 season, and hopefully we continue to grow and bring you guys some good stuff and teach you how to do some new things. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. We'll see you guys on the next one. See you.